What's good, Council of Comics? We're doing Willow, Season 1, Episode 1 and 2. You can already tell by my face how this is going to go. But, let's go.
Yeah. Shout out to Madness. Yeah. Rogue Nation 845. Bro.
Okay. Let's speak about Willow.
Well, the first thing is we came off of a high with Andor, and that is very unfair to Willow.
Well,
Very unfair to Willow.
but if Willow knocks it out of the park, we don't say that.
But Willow does not knock it out of the park.
That's why.
Willow comes in strong on a CW vibe.
I'll say this: the opening credits, the lead-in, very much reminiscent of the Fellowship of the Ring, where
Yes.
this is what's happening. That's great. And
That
then
is great.
if it's the whole show is that, I don't think we say anything. But yeah,
Well, I'm really happy that we got Sorsha back.
yeah.
Like, it's nice to have her there.
And Warwick Davis hasn't missed a step as Willow. It's clearly still him, and his daughter's great. But yeah,
Yeah, by the way, I love that they brought her back, and
Yes.
she is
I'm
refreshing.
almost wondering whether they didn't bring the wife back because she passed away. Why would you not bring her back?
Yeah, but they also didn't bring the son back, but they mention him.
They do. Well, it makes me think he'll show up later too.
Yeah, maybe. I didn't. Man, that's with us getting to Willow. Before we even get to Willow, we're introduced to Princess Kit. We're introduced to her best friend and lover who wants to be a knight. And it's really funny because they're both women. And she wants to go down this, the redhead, the girlfriend, Kit's girlfriend, wants to go down this very traditional path and become a knight, but it's difficult because she's a woman. And Kit, because she's a woman, is a princess, and her mom is trying to marry her off for the good of the kingdom, and that's a very traditional path, and she wants nothing to do with it. I love the juxtaposition of these two characters. If only the writing and the acting could support the premise.
And the redhead's a decent actress because you see her in everything that Disney, Marvel, whatever.
She was in
owns.
Solo.
She was in
Nest.
Captain. Well, yeah, and she was in Captain.
Oh, Captain Winter Soldier, she was the villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was great.
She's been in a bunch of stuff. She's a good actress, but this plot's doing nothing for her.
So,
Or what she's asked to do is not.
before we get to any more comments, let's just go through the episode.
So it's been what would we say 17, 18 years? Because how old is?
We're supposed to believe it's like 17 or 18
Yeah.
years.
And the premise is that what's her name?
Sorsha,
No. The baby.
the baby. Oh, Alora Dannon.
Laura Dannon has been hidden from the world
Because Willow had a premonition
years ago. That
years ago. Now,
evil will return.
by the way,
And
how
she
many
will be involved.
How many? There's so much going on here. Because we learn about what happened with Willow and Sorsha in the second episode. So remind me.
Which to me was too. It was weak, but
It was weak and also like upsetting. Okay, somehow we're supposed to believe that Sorsha absolutely believed in Willow's like premonition, right? And hid Alora Dannon, made her believe she was somebody else entirely, right? All of that because she believed Willow. Yet, when Willow came to visit her and said, I want to train the baby, she's like, you're one of the bravest people I've ever known, but you're no sorcerer.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. But you know why I think she said that? Remember what she told the daughter? There's a little bit of that evil spirit
From her mom.
in all
the-
of them.
Yeah.
So I think that's just like the seeping out a little bit. Because that looked really weird when she did that. I was like, why would she say that to him? You know what I mean?
And the fact that evil spirit is like lingering
Yeah.
in the dark, you know, her mother may be dead, but her spirit is like clinging to the mortal world.
Yeah.
what are those zombie things at the beginning?
I don't know. I call them her minions.
All I know is that I'm watching it with RJ, and you know how he does the little, and he starts blowing that. I'm like, yeah, you don't want to be in the trailer. What's that gonna taste like? That's just that foul smoke, and then it takes over the town.
Yeah. So Kit wants something to do with it.
Better fight scene in that is what, as much as we're not giving this any credit, that's a better fight scene in the dark than the fight scenes in Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Already,
But actually, it was a great fight scene.
it was.
There
no, it
is
was.
a great fight
and
scene.
you can see what's going on.
Yes, and you could see what was going on, unlike the final season of Game of Thrones, with the biggest battle of the series, and we couldn't see anything.
Correct.
So, Kit doesn't want to get married, but the other king shows up with his son. His son is very, like, studious, hands-off, like, prissy, cultured, but, like, a nice, sweet guy, you know?
But to be fair, then we find out later. I mean, we kind of know we're jumping around that he's very much, yeah, I'm educated in the past, but that doesn't mean we have to keep doing things that way. We can do it our own way when we take over.
Yes, yet he and Kit's girlfriend, I'm sorry, I can't remember her name, the two of them immediately, when we are revealed to the real Laura Dannon, they immediately swear fealty to her.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Like, there's no question.
Yes.
We'll get back to how Kit is horrible in a moment.
Yeah. And the prince is.
The prince is very sweet. You're too hard on him.
It's going to be interesting
she
when
is
he finds
awful.
out that
He might be in love with a Laura Dannon.
That it's a Laura Dannon. He doesn't know it's her.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
So the prince, Kit's brother, he falls in love with this blonde bakery girl, right? She's like the baker for the castle.
Yeah, he's like a manhole.
And he's a manhole, but he does feel a special connection to her, and that special connection
now.
keeps. Well, no,
that's
when
the
we
premise.
knew
But that's the premise,
nothing,
though,
right?
Is that this is just the next one in the line of whatever?
Well, that's what everybody told him.
I feel different about her. Yeah.
Well, he's convinced that I was convinced that he was convinced that he feels different about her.
That's fair. No, I'm just saying I didn't.
And you know, when somebody's made of magic, maybe you really do feel different about them. Laura Dannon.
Is it the magic or is it? You know,
Is it magic or is it love? But isn't love magical? It's the closest thing we have. So anyhow, so he's got a special connection with Dove. Dove is the baker, right? So in this big, huge fight, the head of the guards gets attacked by some wizardy zombie dude, right? So he starts to turn evil, only beknownst to us, not to everybody
so
else.
Good when you see it too.
Right? Then, the rest of these zombie magicians, they take the prince away. One of them can like turn into a freaking hawk or something, terrifying.
Something
So
like
they
that.
snatch him up and run off. And of course now where are they? The edge of the world or something? Or past the
No.
Shattered Sea. They're past
No,
the
they're
Shattered
going
Sea.
to pass the Shattered Sea.
Right, but
they have
he
to,
is
remember
past
they have
the
to get
Shattered
to the
Sea.
gate first.
Right, well no, they have to get but they know where they have to go. But the first thing is
No, they don't know initially until they run into Willow.
oh, Willow tells us it's past the
Willow's-
Shattered Sea.
Yeah, remember he says we have.
Oh,
to
he
get-
had the vision already.
Yeah,
And then-
because
and
the
then,
warrior goes, nobody's ever been past
Right,
the Shattered Sea.
right. The
Right.
tall Indian
But
guy
they
that I
know.
like.
Oh, yeah, well, they get there. So, anyhow, the old man who is like the custodian, what do you call him? The guardian of the prince? So he decides to go on this little adventure. Kit is going to go find her brother. Kit's girlfriend's coming along too, because now all their original plans have gone to hell since they were assaulted.
And the queen tells him to go get Willow.
The queen tells him to go get Willow, and the king from the other kingdom tells his son, "That's your betrothed. You're going
Yeah, you
because
better go
I
home."
didn't raise a punk ass."
Right. And he's like, I don't really know what I'm doing.
And he's like, "It doesn't matter. You're going with her."
Yeah.
But it turns out he's useful because he is studious.
The prince played by Flash. What's his name?
Flash Chancellor of the Amazing Spider-Man.
Yes.
He also is in that oh my god, I forgot the name of that hotel movie that Wes Anderson wrote. But yeah, he's basically been in everything. He's really good here. I really like him.
Yes, the one where
The Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah, where everything's pink. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
movie.
great. He's great in that. Would you watch that?
You should watch Did you watch French Dispatch? I'm sorry, I know.
Oh, French Dispatch.
It's
I
great
haven't
too.
seen it yet, but that's
watch
great.
that. That was great too. Back to Willow.
So anyhow, but like he can translate stuff. He can read things the others can't. So there's like an evil, bloody. That's supposed to be blood, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Thing written in the walls when you come outside the gate. So he reads it, and an earthquake happens.
It's awful. Too.
Now Dove is following them, but she doesn't cross the path of them. She goes over this tree log, right, leaving her horse behind. Then she comes up to the barrier, the magical barrier that the two witches from the Willow film
even
made.
before that, what about her going across the chasm?
Right, but she could have just been lucky.
Yeah, maybe.
No, but we know
Okay,
we go from you could be
That's right.
lucky
That's
to
right.
oh
That's
look,
right.
I touched the force field and it opened for me.
That's right.
Then you know.
Right.
Then you know. And then of course the cliffhanger is when they finally find Willow. Willow's like, "Can it be?" And he goes over to her, and whatever is hiding her birthmark, he takes it away and reveals that she's a Laura Dannon, and everyone's like, "Oh my god!"
Except for
And
Prin-
her
except for
expression,
Princess.
her expression at the end of that episode
It's the best.
It deserves an award.
Yeah.
It changed the whole mood for me. Which
Right,
we'll get to
because
in a minute. but
she's so convinced she's no one.
yeah.
She's so
Well,
convinced
she's been
that,
told she's no one.
right? She's like, I'm the girl that bakes muffins. That's what, or the bakes the little,
Yes.
the honey rolls or whatever she's famous for, right? So I think that's great. Also, she makes a point that she's a really fantastic cook, and then I realized that that's probably also because she's magical.
Maybe.
You know?
Yeah, it's maybe.
But because you're a magical being, but you don't understand that you are, right? Now, we get to part 2. Everyone is like, their heads are spinning because this is Laura Dannon. All of Willow's people are like, oh my God, Laura Dannon. His daughter shows up. She's like, I found you with my brother when I was young. It was the best thing I ever did in my life. She is precious.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely precious, right?
And, and even before we see Willow, remember he sends out his buddy there in the armor to pretend to be Willow because nobody's seen Willow.
Yes,
here.
and he's like, I don't
None
do
of
that
these people-
anymore. Yeah.
And then they have the conversation. He's like, no, let him through, and then Willow steps out.
Yes.
He does
But
the
I love that's
classic,
like now.
It's not me, it's me.
But anyhow, Willow's people, they're
That guy
supposed
was
to.
in the movie too.
Yes, he was. Willow's people are supposed to live in what?
I don't know. I feel like they're living underground.
No, they are now living underground, but whatever that community was, it was so beautifully executed in the Willow movie, and this living in a cavern
like a
thing.
little
Well, I
shire,
think that's a
like-
matter.
Yeah, it's like a little shire, and here the magic of the little shire not happening. So I'm very sad.
like
about
the
that.
village went
but I think it's more of
underground.
a protectorate thing. They're living down there.
No,
because
I
Willow's
know.
going, we need to be safe.
I
and-
know what they're doing. It's the quality of the
Well-
production that I'm upset with.
Well, we're
Right.
gonna talk about
No,
that
because
throughout this whole series.
because that's actually the biggest problem, right? So there's two
'cause when we
big things
go to
that
Medieval
happen.
Times Castle later.
Look, there's two big bad things that happen. In the first episode, Kit and Sorsha, mother and daughter, have an argument, and they're speaking two variations of English, right? Sorsha is speaking like an old
Oh
English,
my God, Mom.
and Kit is speaking 21st century English, and it's very, very jarring. And as I'll explain to somebody else, once you have a glaring flaw like that, you start to notice things like, wow, the prince's blouse seems really out of place. Wow, this shire where Willow and his family live just doesn't look as majestic at all like the movies did. You start to see, you start to
sucks
wonder.
you out of the fantasy
You
world.
start getting sucked out of the fantasy.
What if that is the consistency, though? Maybe you're seeing the thing that is, intentionally inconsistent. The idea that all of the new characters are speaking like a modern vernacular, and the old characters are still sticking to this like old English.
That is brilliant, but the caliber
It
of the
doesn't-
acting doesn't match that.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Only the prince from the other kingdom is bringing the A game. I really like him, but no one else is bringing the A game.
The problem
Willow is bringing the A game.
production value is inconsistent. It's great in some scenes, and some of the stuff is great in other. Like the magical wall looks amazing.
Yep.
You believe it, but then you're right. The underground layer is kind of and then the castle that we see in the beginning of episode 2 looks like a medieval times castle. It's like, come on, it should be beat up and.
And he
haggard,
means
but it
medieval
looks-
times, like drive to New Jersey,
Yes, like-
go get your picture
As,
taken
as
with
there
the
were
big
no
wing.
forks in medieval times, there are no forks at medieval times. Would you like more Pepsi?
Yes,
that
oh my
kind
God,
of
it's
medieval
the
times.
best.
So how did episode 2 end?
So she's
plan.
magic. All right. So
remember that.
the whole episode, Laura Dannon is trying to like focus on magic, and Willow gives her like a very basic thing, and of course everyone's groaning. Kit is the worst. The fact that it's not all about her, she's such an obnoxious prick. So anyhow, everyone is down for Laura Dannon, or Laura Dannon's gonna save us all. Like, come on, the magic, Laura, the magic. Kit is like, we don't have time for this. My brother is out there, and you know what? Like, I had it with you, girl. I had it with you in episode 1, So, like, she's just the worst. I'm like, if people are tuning out because of her, I don't even blame them.
So
But Laura Dannon's practicing the whole time, and just so the dude who's turning evil and they don't know it goes out on a quest to find them, and he's with his men. He slays his men and then turns them into weird undead zombie dudes who follow him, and they kidnap Laura Dannon right in the final moments of episode 2. And we look at the ground, and the ground starts growing the plant that she's been focusing on, trying to make the magic make it grow the whole time, finally proving that she's got magic while she's abducted.
Well, but it's the classic. You don't manifest your abilities until you're under stress.
That's a very X-Men thing happening there.
They do it, yeah, but it's a trope. They do it in a lot of things. X-Men's
There's a
the
few,
first
like,
big one.
tropes. Like there's
Mortal Kombat.
the chosen one. That's kind of going on.
Well, she is
through
the
there.
chosen one again.
And You know, like there's the Force. Like if you see it, like they got the Force going on in there too. So there's a few
Yeah.
things like tropes.
All right, so we're gonna do like 30 seconds a piece. Quick, what you feel about it?
I give it a 6 out of 10. I'm
Hold on,
going right.
hold on.
I'm going right in hard.
I just want to say my piece here. All right, I'm a huge Willow fan.
He was.
I love Willow. I love the Ron Howard, George Lucas combination fantasy. But when I went to watch this show,
They should have brought Ron Howard to direct. At least his.
I was thrown off by like Cliff was saying with the CW act. It's like CW acting. I'm sorry, I can't hold back. Like I feel like they didn't concentrate enough. Like when they did the first scene with them talking, I would have been as a director like, cut. What are we doing here? We are in a fantasy world. Did you watch Willow? Did anyone here
your
watch?
accent when you tell the comics titles is better
Oh
than
my
theirs.
god! Oh my god! It was so frustrating.
I don't need them to have an accent. I
But-
just
but
don't
It's
need
not
it.
even an
consistent, but be
accent.
consistent.
It's a.
The vibe. The whole
yeah,
vibe
the
is
whole
off.
vibe was off.
Yeah.
But I will give it the end of each episode. I thought was great.
Excellent cliffhangers.
and it brought me in. So I'm going to continue on with the Willow. But I'm hoping at the end of this series, I've grown to love the characters, and I will like what they do at the end.
I hope
But
they have
so
a story
far,
arc for Kit
I
because
was
she's
like-
the worst.
So far, I'm like production-wise, acting-wise, I'm like the only one that was bringing it to me was the original actor that returned, the female, the queen.
Sorsha.
Sorsha.
We've only been saying
The only one
Sorsha.
that brought it, in my opinion. Only one.
And Willow. I felt like Willow was
I
Willow.
thought Willow was subpar. I thought he didn't.
That's
he didn't
harsh.
raise
I thought he was
anything.
alright.
Phil, what about you?
You know, after I think I'm sold more now that I'm like 2 episodes in. After the first episode, I wasn't really sure if I was feeling it. I watched the second episode. It ended with the cliffhanger, like she getting kidnapped. I think I'm gonna stick with it through, and I think it's gonna be a little bit of a slower burn, but I think it's gonna get like kind of better. So I'm gonna stick it through.
Cliff?
I don't know what to say. I had a nice time watching it. I'm going to continue. And if they don't have a story arc for Kit, I don't know. Because, you know, if she gets stabbed or dies or whatever, I'm just not going to feel bad. I'm like, well, she was an obnoxious prick this whole time. She had it coming. You know, I felt bad for the old dude that went out with them. Like, he's the guardian of the prince, right? Or something like that?
No,
Or
he's
he
the-
trained them. He's the
no.
trainer.
No,
Who's the old man?
he's the-
No.
Not the captive, the one who died. The gold man who
Don't
died.
make me pull out the bottle.
Yeah, don't make me. Wait, yeah. We know who I'm talking about. The old man.
I don't remember.
All right, so
it's
the
No,
old man's the one who
remember
gets
the
killed
captain-
as he
the-
gives
The
Kit.
captain was gonna go.
Yes, yeah.
And
No,
the
I
old
do.
man
Yeah.
was
Right, and he's the one-
the one that was like being old grandpa dude.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and he was the best old grandpa dude. He's
I was
like,
like, what
you
is
gotta
this
know how to
dude
act
gonna
out
do?
here.
Yes.
And then I was like, what's this guy gonna do on his journey?
Right.
I was like, okay, that answered that
I
one.
was so upset because it was like, oh, they killed the last person that could act. Great. Like,
Green shirt guy.
So, again, I also we're green today. I also really enjoyed the movie growing up because I grew up in a household where fantasy and Star Wars and that stuff was kind of something we all got into, enjoyed, and loved. So I usually give these things a little bit more breath than I probably should sometimes. Having said that, I don't love this. Like, I want to, and I rewatched the original movie recently just so I could kind of get myself in the mindset of where we're going. I think the opening's great. I think it's only 9 episodes, so I'm gonna stay with it. I'm gonna watch the whole thing. To be fair, I just hope it gets better. The footprints are there for a good show, but I don't know what they're doing. The production value is all over the place because, again, there's scenes where you're like, oh, that looks great, and it totally makes sense, but then we got Medieval Times Castle. Then the scene where old man dies, it stuck out like a sore thumb. I'm like, these people are supposed to be around forever, yet their clothes are all pristine. They're riding horses with saddles that are brand new, clearly brand new. I mean, come on. And you're also supposed to have been out riding a horse for the last 2-3 days. And none of you are dirty? Come on. Like, it took me out of it. I do like the big, tall Indian guy, Indian from, like, Eastern Asia, Indian, not Native American. I like that guy. I hope he has a bigger role. I'm not loving the princess and the redhead chick.
We forgot one thing. He's linked with Mad Mardigan.
Yes.
They do mention him in the beginning that he's not dead. He just went off to find this
magical
Magic
armor.
magical armor that could save Allura, and he's out there.
Right.
How they're gonna fix that or do that later, I don't know, because we all know Val Kilmer is not gonna be able to do it, or maybe he signed over his likeness and they'll CGI him
That'd be interesting.
in there. We'll see. About
I
that.
think he's gonna have a brother or a son that's gonna pick up. Because we already, I mean, in the pre-show, leak stuff, we already know Christian Slater's part of the show. So I wouldn't be shocked if he's not Mad Mardigan, but he's that voice in this show. And is maybe his cousin or a brother of his or part of his group that took over once he passed away or something like that. That's my guess.
Right. So that's our Willow review, episodes 1 and 2. Leave your comments below. Did you like it? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let us know. We'll continue these reviews. We're going to do the whole season because we're started. And I'm sure it's going to be a wild and bumpy ride. And I am yelling because I am on the other side of the microphone. All right. So for the Council of Comics, everybody here, to everybody out there, we love you. Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe. Go down there and subscribe right now. Right now. Hit
Toys
the
for
like
Tots
button.
Saturday.
Yes, yes. Toys for Tots on Saturday here, December 10th. Alternaverse. Avalanche Shopping Plaza in Hyde Park. All right. Thank you guys. Love you. We'll see you guys next.
Yeah. Shout out to Madness. Yeah. Rogue Nation 845. Bro.